Monday Night Raw Hot Takes, where I talk about what you want me to talk about. We got the Wrestle Don saying, I don't like the idea of investing a full year into one of the best storylines ever. He's talking the AAA Mask vs. Mask match in AAA, just to immediately bury their champion in essentially a 2-on-1 handicap match. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I definitely agree with you, actually. So, Oba Femi beat Dirty Dom last night. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. It is okay for Oba Femi to beat Dirty Dom. However, I don't like the idea of the AAA champion getting beat. I said this last night, and a lot of people are just like, what? Why wouldn't Oba Femi be able to beat Dirty Dom? Oba Femi beat Brock Lesnar. He should be able to beat Dirty Dom. I agree with that statement. Oba should be able to beat Dirty Dom. But we shouldn't job out the AAA champion. If Dirty Dom is your AAA champion, then he should not be in a position of fighting Oba Femi. It just should not have happened. The week prior, just don't have Dirty Dom win. That's all you had to do. He was in a fatal four-way. You could have protected the AAA champion by having him lose there. And then, well, then who would have won? Just let Seth Rollins win. Seth Rollins wins. He goes and has a match against Oba Femi. We could have an actual match with Oba Femi to show that he is way more than how he is being presented. He has a real legit match against a bona fide main eventer. It makes him look strong, and then he can beat Seth Rollins. I think a win over Seth Rollins actually does a little more than a win over Dirty Dom. And you might be thinking to yourself, oh, well, we need to save that match for down the road, and that could be a proper feud. Fine. Then why not have Braun Breaker then? He spears Seth Rollins in the match, just like he did in the Fatal 4-Way, cost Seth Rollins the match, Oba wins, and then we can have Seth versus Braun, and then we can be back on this timeline. And then, even more so, you could have Braun Breaker say to Oba Femi, you owe me one now. I helped you, you owe me one. And then let's just say Oba Femi wins the crown, goes on to SummerSlam and becomes champion. Well, guess who arrives knocking on his door? Braun Breaker saying, yeah, I got you here. It's because of me you're here, so I want a crack at the title. Now you have Oba Femi versus Braun Breaker immediately after SummerSlam. And best of all, you're not burying the AAA champion. And then we could even say this, Oba Femi's like, I'm making this up all on the spot right now, okay? You have Oba Femi tell Braun Breaker, no, I would have beat Seth Rollins anyways. I didn't need your help to beat that guy. And so when Oba Femi beats Braun Breaker, guess what? Seth Rollins' music plays and he says, oh, you didn't need Braun Breaker to beat me? Well then, how about you beat me again? By yourself. And now we have another feud for Oba Femi because we don't want to repeat the same mistake we did with Cody Rhodes. You need to have storylines lined up after you win the big match. And I did get another comment that said something along the lines of, it's just the AAA title, who cares? WWE cares because they have gone to great lengths to continuously remind us that Chad Gable just had the greatest match of the year in AAA. They are actively promoting AAA and trying to get the WWE audience to support AAA. Therefore, one way to get our support is to not bury the champion. So Dirty Dom, it's okay for him to lose to Oba Femi. But Dirty Dom as the AAA champion, it's not okay for him to lose to Oba Femi. Just don't have him fight Oba. I gave you an option. Don't bury any world championships. And if you want to win this world championship, you can. You see, I'm giving it away. I know I changed the subject really quick and smooth, if I might add, but yes, no, for real, I am giving away this belt at 30,000 subscribers on my quest to quit my day job, and I need to do it soon. I think I have a 2-month expiration date on my job right now, so please help me out by subscribing to the channel and commenting. By commenting, you're entered to win this belt right here. It's not a toy. It's a replica, and it's over $600, I believe, on WWE.com. So can you do me a favor and at least like the video if you're not going to subscribe or comment? But you got to comment to be eligible to win. All right, more hot takes. Tiz Mickey says, I'm honestly so scared that in the final is going to be Oba versus Jay, and Brock will cost him, and Jay will win King of the Ring. Don't get me wrong, I seriously think Jay's first run was bad due to WWE creative, and he does deserve a do-over, but not at the cost of Oba. That would make people hate him more. Well, honestly, I think your fears are just. I don't know. That is too close to call. If Jay wins, it will be because of Brock. Or what if it's because of Jacob Fatu? Roman did say, hey, I got one more task for you last night on Raw, and then he whispered in his ear. I could see Roman not wanting Oba Femi to advance. And so, sick the werewolf onto Oba Femi, then you got yourself a good little, 2 to 3 month feud where Oba has to overcome Jacob in order to get to Roman. I think that might be the play, to be honest with you. I'm not saying that I support that. I'm just saying I think that might be it. I think we're all thinking it's going to be Brock, and then it's going to be Jacob Fatu. And then you get Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes. But you are right. King Jay, people are going to hate that. Also, Tiz Mickey says that she was in the crowd and wondering, were you a good crowd? Yes, you were a good crowd, but it's like you were a bloodthirsty crowd. You wanted Jacob to destroy that celebrity over and over again. Well done. I'm glad you got Roman to say, do it again. TTJC says the fact that they gave the New Day storyline to the Vision ticks me off a bit. The New Day storyline. Oh, you're right. The New Day were trying to recruit. Well, Kofi was trying to recruit Javon Evans, and now it seems the Vision is trying to recruit him. I mean, WWE does that, though. When they got rid of Karrion Kross, they just gave his gimmick right to Aleister Black, and I hated that, too. So, TTJC, I can understand that. That's lame. I love AEW Wrestling says, I think LA Knight, should just leave WWE at this point because he's never going to be a true main event guy and hold the top title in WWE. Okay, but where would he go? He's already been to TNA. He's already been to NWA. Now, he's never been to AEW, but would Tony Khan hire him? Speaking of Karrion Kross was a guy that had a lot of buzz going on for him, and he's not in AEW. Now, maybe Karrion Kross never signed on his own. I don't know, but the fact is, I felt Karrion Kross would have been a really good top guy in AEW. I feel LA Knight would be a top guy in AEW, but don't you think the other guys would be a little man? Think about all the people waiting in line for the championship just for LA Knight to walk in and just go right to the main event spot. I don't know if Tony Khan at this point would let someone cut. So what really sucks about the LA Knight situation, he actually might be in the best spot that he could be in order to have the best chances of getting a title reign, because maybe, fingers crossed, somehow, some way, they allow him a 3-month title reign, and then he can prove himself in those 3 months. That Lemur says, I really felt like they did Javon a disservice this episode. He's basically spelling out that he will be in the Vision Vortex after King of the Ring. I don't think they did him a disservice, but yes, if he does get caught in the Vision Vortex, oh my God. Not gonna lie though, a Javon Evans-Logan Paul match, that is very enticing. Karen Etheridge says, I do not like what they're doing with the Vision. And where's Paul Heyman? Paul Heyman was speared by Braun Breaker, so he's probably going to be out for a little bit. It's time to call it one of the worst factions of all time. Absolutely agree. I have never seen a faction of this much top talent just completely crap the bed. I mean, maybe League of Nations, but even League of Nations I don't feel was as bad as the Vision. Just so much potential. And I do recognize that a lot of injuries took place. Even before the injuries, the Vision it was not landing with me. So yeah, I think it's time to call it. And then Etheridge says, maybe after the cell match with Seth, we can finally break them up. God, I hope so. And I hope that Braun goes away for a little bit because I want to reestablish this guy. The Vision has taken him down so many notches. It's crazy. Errol Noir says, what are we doing with Raquel? I love Io, but Raquel needed this win way more. Honestly, I feel like they both needed this win. It felt like both must win this match because they've been kind of doing nothing with Io. She's been regulated to Rhea's sidekick for so long that you kind of forgot that Io actually is the one that has never lost to Rhea. Io is the real threat. You kind of forgot about that. And Raquel, though, I fully also admit, like, where's Big Mommy Cool? Big Mommy Cool at the beginning of the year, I loved what we were doing with Raquel. We were getting that momentum. So, like, I absolutely hate that Raquel lost here, but I'm very glad that Io won. So Io needed the win, but it just sucks that now Raquel is just back to being a background player. Wrestling Cash says, if you need your nickname from commentary to be main event or BA Braun Breaker, that says enough. Imagine if The Rock was called Main Event Rock. Stop forcing these guys and write better stories. I don't mind the nicknames, but I don't like just saying it all the time. Even Seth freaking Rollins, I hate when they say freaking all the time, and I even hate the fact that they've said it so many times that it's almost unnatural for me not to say it. Matt is Haunted says, I hate to say it, but it felt very flat to me. Oba Femi is awesome, but he's booked so strong that once Brock is done, I can't see how they keep him going week to week without more open challenges. I hope they don't do an open challenge. Yeah, it's a conundrum. It's a conundrum for sure. A monster face, it just doesn't really happen. It doesn't happen a lot. Someone said, oh, Undertaker, he was a monster face, and they did just fine with that guy. But you forget, though, when Undertaker was a monster babyface, he was also an attraction. Therefore, he didn't appear all the time. When they actually depowered The Undertaker during the Attitude Era, that's when he started showing up every single week because it's so difficult to have a monster babyface. It's OTW says Chad Gable should be on the fast track to the IC title. You don't have to turn him back heel to do it because the story you've told so far can set up Pent-Up versus Gable, where both men are faces. Yes, I'm sure we'll get a really good hearty handshake while we're at it. I mean, yeah, we can still do it. I would prefer heel Chad Gable. I know I'm alone in that one, though. I know I am alone in that one. But whatever the case may be, I do hope that we do get IC Chad Gable. Whether it's babyface or heel, please give the title to Chad Gable. Killer Wolf says, I wish they were doing Seth versus Braun in a Hell in a Cell instead of a steel cage and end the feud for good. Yeah. Yeah. Carmichael says, Roman just dabbed up Eric Andre, and then 2 minutes later, he's telling Jacob to crush him twice. Roman is and will always be a power-hungry monster. Absolutely. So, Jacob Fatu attacked a celebrity last night by the name of Eric Andre, and he's about to Samoan splash him, and Roman's like, no, do it. And then Roman just does it again and again. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But like, for people who are thinking that Roman's a babyface, he's not. He's not even a tweener. He's just a heel that people love. Andre Bryant says WWE is correctly booking the men's King of the Ring because no one knows who can win, with the possibility of LA Knight costing Jay, The Vision costing Javon, Brock costing Oba. Yeah, you are right there. You are right. That is a positive silver lining, that it's anybody's game. I could literally see it going to almost anybody. You are right. This is a very unpredictable King of the Ring thus far. I mean, at one point, I would have put money on Seth freaking Rollins. So, yeah, You're right. Roman Reigns, acknowledge me, says, this Raw was a 9.5 out of 10. I think I gave it a 6.2. What would you say? How many chops on the Chopometer would you give it? Comment below. Mighty8 says, I like Oba, and I've been saying for months the fans will turn on him, and when he wins the belt, he's going to be overexposed, and people will be tired of him. See, here's I see what you're saying, but there's a flaw in that. I think that people are going to turn on Oba when creative doesn't have any good stories for him. That's the problem. It's not that we're going to turn on Oba, it's that the stories are going to be so bad that we're going to turn on Oba. That they're only going to let Oba do 4 moves forever, and then we're going to turn on Oba. We wouldn't have turned on Cody Rhodes if Cody Rhodes had good stories. We wouldn't have turned on Jey Uso if Jey Uso would have came in as the right-hand man with the championship instead of being just this guy. This is all Jey Uso did during his title reign, and that's why we turned on Jey Uso. Like, if this was the NXT version of Oba Femi, I don't think there would be risk of turning on him. But they're giving us a one-dimensional Oba Femi, except for when they allow him to speak. I will say his promos are very, very good, but for the most part, we're being given a one-dimensional Oba Femi, and that is what's going to ruin him. It's not seeing him every week. It's seeing this version that can only do 4 moves and squash everybody, not get hurt, and can take on entire factions every single week. That is the Oba Femi that we will tire of. And then we're going to get blamed for hating Oba Femi. And it's not that we hate Oba Femi, it's that we hate the creative behind Oba Femi, just like we hated the creative behind Jey Uso, who could only yeet. We love the 3-dimensional Jey Uso, who is crashing out, who is thriving for the approval of Roman Reigns, who's all about his family. Jimbo Slice says, I actually like the revived Bloodline story right now. I feel like this time around, right when Roman gets comfortable, he's going to have to deal with Oba Femi. Oba vs. the Bloodline is the perfect follow-up for retiring Brock. I'm actually digging the Bloodline storyline as well. I know there's a lot of people that are tired of it. I'm not. I think it's different enough that it's fresh enough for me. I would really like to have a one-on-one conversation with somebody who doesn't like the storyline right now. Because, and it's fine if you don't like it, but I just wanted to know, like, were they liking WWE TV better a year ago? Or do they find it more compelling right now? Like, what is the actual issue? Is it just the fact that it's Roman on top again? Nicodemus, DGL, Solo lost Tribal Combat and remains rebellious. Jey Uso also lost Tribal Combat before eventually turning on Roman. How long until Jacob does the same? Not gonna lie, that is a plot hole. Why does Jacob have to completely bow down to Roman Reigns? But Solo Sikoa can just do whatever he wants. But I am definitely enjoying Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu together. Like, that is a very scary combo. All right, boys. All right, girls. Thank you so much for joining me today. See ya, bye.